recognize it. Huh. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Dawn Patrol. I'm Cliff Krieger, your host. I'm hoping to be joined any moment now by Eileen Delrossi.
Eileen Delrossi.
Speaking of Eileen, good morning, Eileen.
Good morning, Cliff. How are you?
Good. Yourself?
It's been a week.
Yes.
That's
It,
for sure.
it has been a week. All right. Let's see what microphone John wants to put you on.
Is she coming?
Are you coming later?
As soon as Anthony's bus comes and gets them.
All right. Well, we'll go with this guy.
All right. So it's been a busy week, huh?
Yeah, and the allergies are killing me.
Yeah. I think I may have allergies. My nose has been running a little bit.
That's not bad. When
No.
your eyes want to like bulge out of your head, that's bad.
That's bad.
And like, yeah.
So I think John is joining us in the allergy business. The weather outside looks a little damp, but it was great driving in. So, and at least we're not Texas where they're breaking heat wave records. Back in history in 1532, Sir Thomas More resigns as the Lord Chancellor of England. Thomas More picking up the title A Man for All Seasons. In 1842, the first major wagon train heading to the Pacific Northwest sets out on the Oregon Trail from Elm Grove, Missouri, with 100 people. So, starting to populate the West in 1842.
Well, didn't they already have Indians there?
Did what?
The Indians were already living there.
Yeah.
So that was the first day of the demise of the Indians.
And who was living there before the Indians?
The Indians have always been around. Since Jesus' day. Hey, you can disagree. That's just my opinion.
Okay.
It's fun to be the producer.
In 1863, American Civil War, the Vicksburg Campaign, a Union victory by Ulysses S. Grant at the Battle of Champion Hill, drives the Confederate Army under John C. Pemberton.
What state was Champion Hill in, Cliff? Was it around here?
No.
Chapel Hill's over off Beck Central.
Oh.
Champion Hill, never heard of that.
Oh,
Maybe
okay.
it's out of Mattapan.
Have you ever heard of the Vicksburg Campaign?
Yeah, that was down south, I think.
Way down south.
Like Louisiana south.
Yeah. Maybe not quite that far south, but yes, down that way. So Ulysses S. Grant emerges as the guy. In 1866, the United States Congress established the nickel.
We don't need it anymore. That'd be the next thing to go. Isn't the penny gone? Didn't Trump get rid of the penny?
He may have stopped minting them, yeah, but they're still around. On the other hand, we did have something like the nickel known as a shin plaster.
Oh, the old shin plaster. Never heard of that in my life.
My
Your relatives had that?
relatives on my father's side, a couple of young kids found a Union payroll that had fallen off of a wagon, and they returned it to the Union officers.
Can you imagine how
and-
drunk those wagon drivers were? Where you're letting money fall off your wagon, you don't even notice it.
Yeah. They gave him a shin plaster as a reward, which is worth about a nickel. The United States, in 1868, the United States Senate failed to convict President Andrew Johnson in impeachment by one vote. What have we had? 4 impeachments? Yeah. In 1870.
We'll have another one pretty soon, don't you think?
Well, the articles were introduced this week. I don't think they're going anywhere. In 1874, a flood on the Mill River in Massachusetts destroyed 4 villages and killed 139 people. There's a river that fell 700 feet in 6 miles of travel. In 1888, Nikola Tesla delivers a lecture describing the equipment which will allow efficient generation and use of alternating current to transmit electrical power over long distances. That wasn't that long ago. In 1918, the Sedition Act of 1918 is passed by the Congress, making criticism of the government during wartime an imprisonable offense. And unfortunately, Congress repealed that 2 years later. And in 1919, a naval Curtiss NC-4 aircraft commanded by Albert Cushing Reed leaves Trepassing, Newfoundland for Lisbon via the Azores on the first transatlantic flight. Do you think he was a forefather of Karen Reed, Eileen?
Say that again.
This guy,
All I heard was Karen Reed and Eileen.
Albert Cushing Reed, commanded a Curtiss NC-4 flying boat, left Newfoundland, and ended up in Lisbon for the first transatlantic flight.
I mean, are they related? I mean, Karen Reed's going to have a lot of firsts in this country, not having to do with anything aviation. Maybe. I'll see if I can get her ancestry DNA.
All right.
Because I feel like I'm like that much of a, what is it called? A stalker?
A groupie.
A groupie. Yeah, I mean, I'm all about it. I've never felt this way about somebody.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people are feeling that way. In 1920, in Rome, Pope Benedict XV canonized Joan of Arc. And thus we have our Joan of Arc credit union.
Wait, are you Joan of Arc?
Yes.
Jeanne d'Arc is a result of Joan of Arc?
Yes.
Oh. I thought it was a French thing.
It is. Joan of Arc was French.
But why isn't it Joan d'Arc Credit Union?
Because in France, it's Jeanne. They're using it in France. French.
Oh.
Jeanne d'Arc. Saint Jeanne d'Arc. Now they dropped the saint. The pagans in America dropped the saint. Now they call it Jeanne d'Arc Credit Union. But it's Saint Jeanne d'Arc is the English translation of Jeanne d'Arc.
Oh.
She was quite the warrior. There's a nice statue of her on her horse in Paris. I'll see if I can look that up. No, you'll be able to see it on your phone, but the audience might like to see it.
So, just brought up something that I've read in the last couple of weeks. The greatest change in our lives in the last 100 years What would you think was the most important advancement, Eileen, in the last 100 years?
Technology.
Can you pick something?
In the like the World Wide Web, to be more specific.
Okay. You want to have a vote in this, John?
Yes. Electronic transmission of video.
All right.
What did he say? Sorry, electronic submission.
Transmission of video, like TV or
War crimes.
Yeah.
fax machine.
Crimes in action.
Yeah.
Video. Video doesn't lie. Now AI is making it up. I saw Trump sitting down talking to Joe Biden yesterday. Completely fake stuff. Can't
Yeah.
tell. I can't tell.
So the person I was reading said indoor toilets. Half
Well,
of
I
America
mean-
did not have indoor toilets in 1945.
Well, you can't really say that. You can't make it that much of a time period then. You know what I'm saying? Like, it can't be 100 years.
Okay.
You know? That's an unfair question. Well, I guess, right? I
You
mean,
should've
I
been
know
a
when we
lawyer.
moved into our house on Beacon Street, I mean, we definitely didn't have a toilet downstairs, and my parents had one of our closets turned into a downstairs bathroom.
Yeah.
I mean, so the ability to do that, I guess, and build a toilet anywhere.
Yep. Resulting in a reduction in disease. Okay, 1966, the Chinese Communist Party issues the May 16th notice, marking the beginning of the Cultural Revolution and a population reduction action, maybe 100 million people. In 1969, the Venera program, Venera 5, a Soviet space probe, lands on Venus. In 1831, David Edward Hughes, a Welsh-American physicist, was born. He was the co-inventor of the microphone, died in 1900. In
I
1938,
thought microphone was invented by an Italian guy.
I think radio was invented by an Italian guy, Marconi.
Microphone. I thought he was an Italian guy. Microphone. Lived out in Billerica.
Could be.
I'm just joking, Cliff. I made that up.
It was good. In 1938, Joseph Strauss passed away. He co-designed the Golden Gate Bridge. And in 1990, Jim Henson passed away, American puppeteer, director, producer, screenwriter, creator of the Muppets. This is the feast of Simon Stock, from whom we get the brown scapular. And it's Teacher's Day in Malaysia. So, was President Trump pushing peace in the Middle East during his visit? What do you think?
He's selling it.
He what?
Sold a lot of planes.
Yeah.
They love him over there.
I think that part of it is that he wasn't telling them how to run their life. Even the Boston Globe talked about that. Had an article, Trump's pledge no more lectures on how to live resonates in the Middle East.
Say that again. Trump pledges who?
Trump's pledge, No more lectures on how to live. Resonates in the Middle East. President Trump, while he was in Riyadh, pledged that the United States was done with nation building and intervening with the world's, intervening in other nations' activities. I'm sure Fru will have something to say about that on Monday.
Well, he sent a video already about one of the guys in the Middle East is displeased with President Trump. Could you recognize that guy, who that guy was? Never said his name.
I didn't, I've got the video, but I didn't look at it this morning.
Oh.
I wasn't too well organized this week.
Well, this is the guy talking. Let me put the screen on that one. See if we recognize this guy. That's not him. Come on now, blah, 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 blah. Where did the guy go? Him. Never says who he is. I guess I'll freeze frame it. Nope, not Trump. Him. This guy.
Yeah, I don't know.
Displeased with President Trump's visit. Will he be executed within 24 hours? We shall see. That's how they handle things over there.
Yeah,
It's get rid of thy neighbor. Not love thy neighbor, get rid of thy neighbor you don't like.
I think they're doing a little better.
Just a little. Just a little. They still whip people over there.
Yeah,
Disrespect woman. Woman of trash.
I think that things are changing in Saudi Arabia.
What they need is Saudi Arabia. They have so much money. Like if you're rich, they just let you slide. The only reason we let Saudi Arabia beat up their wives, and I saw it happen live in Las Vegas, they have money. This guy shows up from the Middle East, pulls up in this beautiful limousine. They open the door, bunch of women in Middle Eastern garb get out of the car. The lone guy in the car gets out of the car, and he starts beating up one of the women that was in the limo with him. I mean, he's whacking her till she hits the ground. Everybody, the security, everybody did an about face. They just turned around and looked the other way. And they're like, this is the United States of America. So no,
Wait.
that guy's rich.
Was it from the Middle East or was it P. Diddy Combs?
It may well have been that
Cliff.
P. Diddy guy. They're saying that what he did, we might not like it, it's not against the law. So if you have money, you can get away with almost anything.
Well, there's a sad commentary.
Is it not true?
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy. But that's the society we came from, too.
Look at how hard OJ had to try to go to jail.
Ugh, it's muggy and gross out.
Okay, we need a little breeze.
Gee, I thought it was great. Okay.
Yeah, I can see how this weather can fit you. Steel and non-moving. Just kidding.
Thanks.
I wonder what the temperature is. 64 degrees.
Perfect.
Well, 70's better, but 64's okay. So, Cliff, you got any weekend plans?
Yeah, I've got to finish this book I'm reading.
So you'll be spending it inside.
Yes.
One of the comments from the audience, you gotta love it when Cliff drops a Puff Daddy joke on Friday.
Agreed. P. Diddy.
And Jeff Kona has announced that he's canceling his rally tomorrow
Oh,
because of the expected rain.
that's too bad.
Yes. So he just announced it on radio, so it's not AI generated.
Okay. Well, speaking of political personalities, Congresswoman Lori Trahan back on 6 May ran a survey. Do you think Donald Trump should be allowed to run for a third term?
She asked that question?
Yes. Wow. I take it you did not vote.
I didn't know there was a day to vote. When was voting day?
She sent you an email and asked you to
Oh,
respond.
you can't trust those things. Those are rigged. It's fixed. Bad enough our local elections don't call her ID. How does she even know who you are? How does she even know who my email address, City Life Show, how does that say it's John McDonough? On yours says Cliff Krieger. Eileen, does your email address indicate it's you?
Say that again?
Does your email address indicate that it's you?
It does, actually.
Okay. But many don't.
So, Eileen, did you vote in this survey from Lori Trahan?
No. I thought she got back to you. Did she get back to you?
I'm sorry, we're talking Lori Trahan here.
Yeah, I know. Did she ever, well,
No.
all right. So, Lori Trahan, no, I did not even see that survey at all. Was it in our email?
Yes. Maybe you're not signed up for emails from Lori.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Because I'm mad at her because they don't let you get in touch with her. They don't let you see her when you show up at the office.
Yeah, there's that. So, should Trump be allowed to run for a third term?
I mean, as a voter, I feel like whoever's going to do whatever is best for us, but I don't feel like anybody is actually standing up for the American people to survive healthy.
Why didn't she ask, should I be allowed to run for another term?
I don't know.
Because the question, quite bluntly, is 2 years early. The guy hasn't been in office for 6 months, and she wants to renew his contract? What is she, a Lowell city councilor?
No, I don't think she wants to renew his contract. I think she'd like to see him go away
Well,
by noon.
he's going to be here for another 3.5 years. Sorry.
But should he be allowed to run for a third term?
I don't think Lori Trahan should be allowed to run for another term. I didn't see the question. If I did, a lot of my stuff that I get from political wizards, like I get a lot of email from Elizabeth Warren, and it says, I sent it to me. It'll say, City Life Show. I said, I didn't mail anything to myself. How the heck did that happen? And you open it up, and it's from Elizabeth Warren. And they're like, how the heck? And now lately, my new friend, Kamala Harris, she's even emailed, and it says, City Life Show on the mail. I don't know how they do that, but I delete it.
Actually, and this may be a good time to plug my new website, or I have a new domain. It's www.studentfocusedvoice.com. And you can, well, actually, now that I think about it, you can reach me at delrossi@studentvoice.com.
Well, wait a second. Student what?
Voice.
Studentfocusedvoice.com.
Focused. Voice. All right, let's see what happens. By golly, by gum.
Nothing
What is,
happened.
Bingo.
I'm sorry, maybe
I know you think
www.studentfocusedvoice.com.
It's up.
it's up. And How long you had this? Because you got Freddie Bahou on the school committee, and then you have other people.
Well, it's pictures from both of my terms.
Oh, gotcha.
Who did your webpage? You do it yourself?
Yes. So don't judge me.
About the candidate. All right. We'll discuss this matter when you arrive.
Okay, sounds good.
I got a big donation button here, and pretty cool. PayPal and Venmo. You don't take credit? Oh, debit and credit card. Cool. Are you going to have a party?
Well, I was thinking of maybe doing something like virtually, like so we could, like people could get to know me or share their issues kind of better, because it's hard with a party, right? People come, I kind of want to do something different.
Well, I think that I like parties. I know I
You like parties? Okay.
Yes, I went to Rodney's party last night. Place was rocking.
Where was Rodney's party again?
The China Star out on Middlesex Street. Oh, delicious stop. And great crowd. Saw a lot of people there. Had a good time. Then I went to the Back Central neighborhood meeting. We'll talk about that in the second hour. Back to you, Cliff.
Okie doke. So, yeah, my vote is no third term for President Trump. Time for new blood. But what about out there in Viewerland? Did anybody respond? Does anybody have an opinion, even if they didn't respond to Lori? Text in. Let us know what you think. All right. Yesterday at the Supreme Court, as one headline had it, once fringe birthright citizenship theory takes the spotlight. So the Supreme Court heard arguments about, well, the arguments really were about, can one district judge impose his will on the whole country? And one district judge ruled that President Trump's executive order stopping birthright citizenship, the government argued that it only applied in that district, and others argued that it was applied across the country. This one district has something like 600 federal district judges, over 600.
What did these judges do? They had a cookout?
They what?
They had a cookout, these judges, or what did the judges do?
They decide your fate.
I know they do that, but what did they do? 60 judges? 600 judges?
I think it's like 670.
They were on a Zoom call, or what about these 670 people?
One of them, one of these
just
600
one.
and some, yes, said that President Trump's executive order saying there's no such thing as birthright citizenship.
The big girl, Sona my Yahoo,
Yeah,
she said it's not legal.
all right.
She's a big shot. There's only, 9 of those justices, or is there 11 justices?
9.
9. One of the 9, she said, nah.
So, but the big question yesterday was, can one district judge impose his will across the country from Key West to Fort Yukon?
Well, I don't see the harm. All he can do is say stop. He can't execute anybody. So he's stopping everybody getting exported from the country. And a lot of people don't like that, but it's how the American government understands the law. And that's how it is. Got a bunch of texts from one guy. Good morning, Mr. McD. Not sure whether you are aware, but Jeff Kuna rally is canceled because of weather. That's from Jay. Then Jay continues. He just announced it on the radio, so it's not AI generated. And then Mr. Hand should worry about the people of Mass instead of looking for talking points. What a fraud. That's from Jim. And how's the book going, Miss Delrossi? That's all from Jim. Thanks, Jim.
Are you writing a book, Eileen?
Wait, say that again. I wasn't focusing.
Are you writing a book, or is this about the book you're reading?
Am I writing? I'm not writing a book, and I'm not reading any books right now.
A week ago, you were reading a book.
What book was I reading?
Changed her mind.
I think that it was about education.
Oh, what I sent you. Right? The article that I sent you, Cliff, about how in the early 1900s in Massachusetts, there were over 2,200 school districts, and now in Massachusetts, there's 329 school districts that only service 349 towns and cities in Massachusetts. And it kind of explains why it's not the best, why students don't get the best education. Oh, wait, not mine. Wait, am I losing my mind? This morning, nothing's going right in my life.
Jay says he thought you were writing a kid's book.
Yes. It keeps getting pushed back because of materials. So it was supposed to come out in 2025. It was, now I can't even think of it. What is that? I can't, it's like what I want to be when I grow up, and it gives all the kids, it gives all different versions of occupations that kids can be. Hold on, let me find it and I'll send it to you because I'm trying to triple task right now.
Okay.
Okay, this time during President Biden's term, we heard multiple word salads from Vice President Harris. How many have we heard from J.P. Vance? Not many.
I agree. So, somebody commented that this issue of birthright citizenship was a dead issue and nobody cared. And then Trump issued an executive order which fueled new interest. And someone used the expression, the Overton window, that this expanded. The Overton window is the political space about issues that are open for discussion, as opposed to things that nobody cares about. And so the writer said that President Trump has a rather uncanny ability to move the Overton window. Issues that people thought were off the table are on the table. So we'll see how the Supreme Court rules on this. There was a article about Arizona State University campus where they have a 70% female registration, and they're claiming that they're going to have to work on developing gender equity strategies to help vulnerable.
Define gender equity status. Status.
Strategies.
Please define. Did they define what they meant by that, or are you going to make up what you think it is?
We're going to make it up. The new College of Interdisciplinary Arts and Sciences says it will focus on motivations and advances in gender equity to address the need of new colleges, growing female student population by improving access to education, leadership opportunities, and equitable advancement.
The only place I see doing that is Middlesex Community College, where you can go to college for free. A comment to Eileen. Eileen, is it going to be a picture book? And the second one, good morning. When was the last time Cliff had a Bavarian donut?
Eileen, is there going to be a what?
Couple weeks.
A picture book.
A book.
Picture book. Your kid's book.
Yes. I just sent it to John. It's called Britannica's Little Experts. They contracted with me to create it. I just sent it to John's Facebook Messenger. And
coming
this
through-
website is saying it will be available in Target July 5th, 2025, this year.
Oh,
The picture's coming through at the speed of government.
But I've seen, like, Amazon has it pushed out to 2026.
oh.
Walmart beat him.
So, I saw a headline, I didn't read the article, but Walmart's pushing prices up because of the trade war.
Yeah, I mean, it's a
Anything
sad day when the Dollar Tree is the $1.25
So
store now.
your book is $13. Britannica's Little Experts. Well, congratulations, Eileen. That looks a sharp-looking book. Nicely done.
Okay.
Back over to you, Cliff.
So, with a 70% female population, they're worried about equity for females. What about the males? No mention. Only 30% of the students are men. And women are graduating from college at a higher rate than men. Women get into college at a higher rate. So it looks like women are succeeding well beyond men, but yet they're worried about equity for women. You got a thought on this, Eileen?
I think women have a lot of equity right now, but
Okay, kiddo, define what you mean by the word equity.
everyone gets what they need, right? Like, I feel like women have been able to get what they need if they really, truly want to in today's society. Like, as a woman, I'd never really be able to even work and have my own career and to run for school committee, to be on a school committee, if it was, the early 1900s, honestly. So I really do feel like women have equity in a lot of ways, and it's just what people want. And it's a drive. But if you don't have drive, then there's no equity. And I think that's where equity gets into trouble, because if you don't have, like we talk about, like people who play the game, who may work and live off the system, and you know what I mean, and get free health insurance, get the free, like, market basket card, the EBT card, like, then they're taking advantage. But it's not because of a lack of equity, it's because of a choice that they're making, a strategic choice.
Yeah. So, with 70% women and 30% men at this Arizona State University, I would guess that means that there's going to be fewer marriages among that population and fewer children. What do you think?
Important development here. Melanie is bringing donuts.
That answers the question.
So my take from her text is Melody's bringing donuts. So Eileen, no donuts, please.
Eileen. I think we've lost Eileen.
She could be getting Anthony on the bus. She'll come back.
That's it.
I'm sorry. Yes, Cliff.
No donuts. Melanie's got that under control.
Got it.
And-
Melanie's having a bad day. She woke up to a flat tire in her car, so she's driving her son's beater.
Ah,
Now, I don't know if that's a convertible car that can also mix up eggs, or what her son's beater is, but we'll see when she gets here.
I thought beater was a common term.
It must be Midwestern.
I'm thinking you might be right. But the beater is the used car that you bought that is pretty beaten up.
Well, in New England, yesteryear anyway, we use the term jalopy. And a lot of my friends around the country didn't know what a jalopy was. Have you heard the term jalopy?
Yes.
What, did they use that out in California when you were a kid, or is that a New
Yeah.
England term?
Yeah, you take your jalopy down to Tijuana and get a tuck and roll job.
Well, I don't care what kind of action you're getting down in Texarkana or whatever you're talking about there, but
TJ,
whatever.
Tijuana, there's a restaurant.
No,
a
but you said you were
Tijuana
getting some
restaurant
kind
on
of-
the main drag.
You said you were getting some kind of a sex job down there, so
No, I
didn't
said a
wanna-
tuck and roll.
Well, just a second, Cliff. Now, I can take a microphone out to the street, stop all the cars that are driving by, and ask them, excuse me, sir, excuse me, ma'am, what is a tuck and roll? And I'll bet you nobody knows the answer. Now, I'm going to go around the room right now. Eileen, what's a tuck and roll? Crickets.
Hello?
So, Eileen, we have a question. What is a tuck and roll?
You do that when there's a fire? I don't know.
Okay, I'm going to ask the audience, what's a tuck and roll? I think it's a X-rated video myself, but we'll see what the audience says.
All right. So, we haven't talked about President Trump's favorite state attorney general yet, Letitia James.
But don't forget about hunk of junk.
About who?
Hunk of junk.
Pumper junk?
Hunk. H-U-N-K. Hunk of junk.
Yes, that sounds credible.
Did you use that term out in California as a child?
Well, as a child, I lived in Jersey, but yeah, I've heard the expression
You
hunk of
know
junk.
what I meant. Didn't you know what I meant?
Yeah, but I didn't think you knew what you meant. Yeah,
Never mind,
hunk
never
of
mind,
junk.
never- Cliff, I've turned the page. Never mind. I don't care.
So, do we think that Tish James is in trouble with her? I mean, it almost sounds like a small-scale version of what she went after Donald Trump for. Is she going to get away with it?
I don't know who you're talking about, Cliff, but please proceed. Yes, she is.
Okay. Okay. So, I don't know. Let me see. So in England, we have Michael Farage's party did well in the by-elections. So I think that signals that Europe is changing. Even the Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, came out against mass immigration. And then Sunday, it's going to be the first round of Polish presidential elections. And the same day, Romania is expected to have a runoff for their presidential election. And the winner is believed to be a hard-right nationalist and admirer of President Trump. So I think Europe is moving a little bit to the right.
Comment from the audience. Women are looking for equity until it comes to putting up siding and fixing plumbing issues. Then it's all of a sudden, bam, that's the man job. Apparently, this guy doesn't watch on Thursday because any number of those things Evelyn Thorin does with her eyes closed. She puts siding up, fixes plumbing, drives a tractor. So maybe just the woman that you know, but certainly not Evelyn Thorin. She can do all that good stuff.
I think we have to admit that Evelyn Thorin is an exceptional woman.
Every woman's exceptional in her own way.
Yeah, I'll grant you that at the theoretical level, but I think that it diminishes a little bit the way that Evelyn Thorin stands out.
Okay, well, look at Cliff. Let me ask this question. When something's missing at your house, we'll say your car keys. Do you ask your wife where your car keys are? Most of America, when something's missing, they yell out, honey, where is the salt and pepper? Honey, where are my car keys? Honey, where's the remote for the TV set? They don't look. They just, where's the remote?
Well, that could be. I think I tend to look for those things myself. Did you see where the Antarctic?
So you never ask Martha. I understand.
Oh no, I ask Martha sometimes, but I don't ask her a lot. I normally figure it out myself.
Okay, well, a comment from the audience. You're going to like this one, Cliff. Cliff is sharp as a tack today.
Thank you, Bart.
Bart is brilliant.
Yeah. Is he from San Francisco?
He can respond. He's listening.
Okay.
I don't know who Bart is, but he's in genius mode today.
All right.
Cliff is always the smartest guy in the room.
Doesn't he wish?
And Cliff's hobby is correcting people. You should have been a school teacher, Cliff, so you get people little X's on their answers. I think you would have liked that.
I don't think I should have been a school teacher. I did teach college for 3.5 years.
Did you enjoy putting X's on the kids' papers?
Circling
misspelled words?
I did so poorly myself in public school and college that I'm a little humble about that kind of thing.
Reminds me of my brother Joe, my late brother Joe. I bring home my homework, bring home a test, and the sister at St. Peter's School had circled the misspelled things and gave me a few X's, but I got a B on the test. So I'm belly aching to my brother Joe about, look at this, she circled the words I'd misspelled, and she only zeroed in on the things I did wrong. And he says, you got a B, let it go. Good old Joe. He always had a way with words. You got a B, let it go.
A B would have been nice.
I was happy with my B.
Yeah. I've told you, I've missed 21 on a 20-word spelling test. That was embarrassing.
Who knew?
The teacher, who gave me 21 wrong
See, nowadays,
out of
the
20.
computer, when I'm typing, the computer underlines misspelled stuff, and you hit one of the keys on the computer board, and it tells you the correct spelling of the word. Prior to this, if I was writing a letter at home, I'd yell to my wife, "How do you spell Pinocchio?" Or if I was at work, my colleague, her name's Paula, I'd yell down the hallway to Paula, "How do you spell Pinocchio?" And it got to the point where I could just yell out a word, "Pinocchio!" and she'd spell it back. So I am a very bad speller. So the computer really helps me.
Yes, it's a help. I depend on my wife if I have a question on spelling.
Doesn't your computer underline the words?
It autocorrects, which I have to keep an eye on.
Oh, it does that in text. I don't like that autocorrect, man. That gets me in a lot of trouble.
You could turn it off.
Nah, I'm gonna Cliff, at 7, you're gonna have to get up. I gotta close the shades. We're supposed to be cloudy today. Thank you, Channel 5 News. It's not cloudy. You're baking into the sunset here. I gotta make it brighter. But
All right.
windows are gonna turn white.
So, the Antarctic, that ice sheet, the continent down at the bottom of the world, has gained ice mass between 2021 and 2023, which is a dramatic reversal. 4 key glacier basins in East Antarctica showed significant growth due to increased snowfall, and the mass gain briefly contributed to decrease in global sea level, according to satellite data. I think that's kind of interesting. We're all worried about global warming, and here we find that it's being reversed down in Antarctica.
Well, the pendulum swings the other way.
Yeah. So Eileen, are you on your way?
Yes, she's on her way.
Yes, I am.
Hey, did we talk about Elon Musk? Not Elon Musk. Jeff Bezos putting those 6 women in space for a few minutes?
Did they really get to space, Cliff?
Yes.
Good.
Space is defined as 62 miles, and they made it above the 62-mile line. They were in the Blue Origin spaceship.
It was quite the adventure for them. Good for them. How long was Captain Kirk up there for?
Same amount of time.
Yeah, so good for them. Glad they had a good time. Glad they got back safely. It's a nice trip. Expensive one.
I saw Captain Kirk on TV the other day. He's in his 90s, and he did a great job.
I saw Captain Kirk when he was in Lowell.
Oh.
See, Cliff needs his wife to find the correct spelling of words. I think that's an exaggeration, but thank you for your comment.
Yep, that's pretty much me. Hi, we got our one living hostage still with Hamas back this week. That was a good thing. But I'm not sure they're moving towards a solution to that problem over there, do you?
Cliff, they're born to hate each other. As soon as you come out of your mother's body, they slap you on your behind, and depending on what side it is, if you're on the Israeli side, you're born in Israel, they slap you on the behind, and they say, a Palestinian did that. And in Palestine, which is just the other side of the wall, it's like next door, it's like Pelham. They slap you in the butt and they'll say, an Israeli did that. And so they're born to hate each other. And the only person who can stop hating is the individual. There's no mindset in that region to do such a thing. So this extermination is going to continue.
You have no solution.
No, I don't. Do you?
I have an extreme solution. which is move everyone from Israel to the United States. Lock, stock, and barrel.
They don't want to go.
Okay? But that's my offered solution. So, just to keep us up to date, the debt is $36.854 trillion. It's going up something like $29 billion a week. That's a lot of money.
Makes me feel really good about my debt.
So I'm going to put these, I got some texts up, and once I'm done with these texts, we're going to go to break because Freddie Bahou's going to be 3 minutes late. Eileen, what's your ETA?
My ETA is probably about 7 minutes.
So we're going to go to break. Cliff, you can go off to the kitchen there and see how close Fred Bahou is to his arrival. And I'm going to put these texts up so we can read them. And then we're going to go to break.
Okay.
One of them asked
Wait,
you,
I'm going to
one of them asked you a question.
go ahead.
And let me get them on the screen here. There you go, Cliff.
If you had more funding,
If you had more funding, Cliff, would you have done better in school? On the microphone, please.
no.
Okay. Climate change is and has been a grift, G-R-I-F-T, for decades. Will the new report on ice storage change that what's you reported? And that Jeff Bezos stunt was just a live version of the Muppets Pigs in Space. Oh, my God. Cliff, you can have some parting words that I'm going to put...
Yeah. Well, because my father worked for the federal government, my school got extra money from the federal government because I was living there. So money was not the solution. My grades improved when I changed school systems. Why was one school system better than another? I'm not sure. Money may have been a factor. That second school system was funded by the Fairless Steel mills.
All righty, we're going off to Breakland.
There we
This
go.
is the procession of Our Lady of Fatima on Back Central Street that they had I believe Monday night, and about 200 people, St. Anthony's Church, and quite the extravaganza. A lot of eye candy here. So magnificent. Walking down Back Central, they had Lowell Police had a cop car in the front, had a cop car in the back. Was great. What a great time that was. So where is the music playing? I thought I hit the music to play, and I'm not hearing it. There it is. Lights are on, you're on.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the City Life Show. I'm Cliff Krieger, your host. Eileen Delrossi is the co-host.
Good morning.
You can tell Eileen, she's the one with the hairband. Is that a hairband?
Yep, my
Okay.
headband.
And our
I'm
guest
gonna take it off probably.
is Fred Bahou from various school committees around the area.
Yep, and I have no hairband. I actually got a haircut a few days ago, and they laughed at me on how little hair that I have. So.
Did they give you a reduced rate?
Yeah, I should ask for a reduced rate.
Exactly. We have our producer, John McDonough, and we're hoping that Melanie Gilbert will be rolling in here any minute now, reporter for the Lowell Sun. So, Eileen, quick update. Karen Reed,
Oh, spicy. She was actually sick one day this week and couldn't make it into court. I can't even imagine all the stress. But what the defense keeps doing is impeaching all of the prosecution witnesses. I think every one of them
Now,
has
when you
had
use the word impeach, please tell the audience what you mean by
So
that word.
impeach meaning from what they said between either a police report, wrote in a police report or an EMT report, or even the initial grand jury or the previous trial, there was a discrepancy between what they're saying now. And the defense is just hitting all of that right now.
So when you
every
use the
single-
word impeach in 10 words or less, what do you mean by it?
Lying, they're discrepant.
Understood. Thank you.
So does that mean they're removing them from the?
No, they're still there.
Okay.
And the prosecution is still trying to say that this is their role. But the defense is saying, like, even the changing of one certain word or the chain of custody of the evidence that the criminalist, like the analyst saw, like nobody knew the true chain of custody of all the evidence. So when they're on the stand, they're saying like, do you even know what happened to that piece of
Welcome.
evidence before it got to you? Nobody does. Like, it's just a crazy situation. But it's interesting, and they're really highlighting the corruptness.
yeah. You're going to be sliding over, I suspect, to one spot. So Turtle Boy's been indicted again?
Oh,
Turtle Boy. He's indicted, but apparently anyone can get indicted. Good morning. Good morning, Melody.
good
How are you?
morning.
Apparently, a grand jury can indict a ham sandwich, so it's really easy to get an indictment from a grand jury, so that really doesn't mean much.
It's supposed to be our first line of defense as innocent people.
So the retrial is not making the, what do I say, the public safety crew look that good.
No, it's making the Mass State Police look really bad.
Mass State
Oh, the
Police
state police too, or?
and the town police.
Oh, the
And
town police
cancer
are for
police.
sure.
And even.
Solo cops?
So why would we have the retrial?
I thought the chain of evidence was already
It's
compromised.
essentially highlighting everything.
Yeah.
Like the corruptness in Massachusetts.
So if I can just pivot for a minute, I'm bringing in show and tell. I'd have to get up. This is a, I'm gonna,
We're going to have
John
to
just
do
stepped
this
out of
when
the
John
room, so
gets
you might
back.
wanna come back, 'cause he can focus in
oh, he
on-
can?
on
Okay,
the
that,
cup.
I was wondering
A
what I
little
was
better.
missing. Okay.
Yeah.
So thank you for bearing with me. I woke up, I came out, turned on the car. You know, I have this fancy car now that talks to you
Oh,
and,
congratulations.
you know, has all the sensors and all that kind of stuff. And it said your tire is, you know, it's low
Oh,
low
the old
pressure.
GPF.
Yeah, so I went to
Yes.
the dialogue screen and says my left back tire was low.
Yeah.
supposed to be like 35 or 36 and it was 25. So I thought, that's weird. So I get out and you can't turn the
Yeah.
back wheels, so you just have to roll forward, look, roll forward, look. Well, it's a nail.
No.
So I can't take it out. The thing will definitely be flat.
Sure.
So I must have had it parked overnight where it was sitting on the nail. So it leaked air all night. And my garage isn't open at this hour. So I brought my son's car. So get this. This car is so old. I bought my son a beater. And it's a 21-year-old Honda Corolla. That thing has a console that includes a cassette deck.
Disc.
Yes, cassette
but,
tape,
yes.
and a CD player. Like, I'm so loving that.
As he does.
You apparently
As he does.
confused the producer with the term beater. I mean, I knew exactly what you meant.
You know, because you've
Yeah.
probably bought beater cars, right? So they're the kind of thing that, I mean, it's got 250,000 miles. Like, I got it for a really good price, but it's in good shape. And then when I discovered that, I was like, I am so happy. Now, it doesn't have, I have to be careful because it doesn't have the backup camera. Doesn't have the sensors in the windows where you can look in your rear view or your side mirrors and tell that there's a bike next to you. So it was actually super instructive for me to drive that car because now I can, pass along all my wisdom to my son. Like, always look right before you turn right.
Even I always do, even with the cameras. Like,
I do too, yeah.
And always turn around.
Because bikes, when they have those, I'm a big bicyclist, and when I'm riding down the street and they have those speed trackers, I'm doing 14, 16 miles an hour.
Feeling
So by the time
Feeling
they
good.
pick me up on their side sensor and start to execute their turn, I'm in Ohio. Like I'm already hit. If they turn that fast at the rate I'm going. Typically in streaming traffic, I'll flow with the traffic. In stop traffic, I'll slow it down because of that very reason.
Sure.
And it's shocking. I don't go on my phone in this car. That's another thing it doesn't have. It doesn't have the mapping. So I actually had to navigate by myself. I have that console in my car,
Yeah.
where it shows you, gives you the blue line and everything. This car doesn't do any of that. But I am shocked when I'm bike riding how many people are on their phones when
no
they're
idea.
driving.
Sure.
You can't trust that.
Oh, no, and particularly when they're stopped, like when they're sitting in traffic, they all pull out their phone.
That's like automatic.
Oh,
Catch
yeah.
up. Catch
And
up on text, catch up on emails.
The problem
Sure.
is that when they release their foot from the brake, the car will start to drift and it drifts into the bike lane. So that's the one thing that I have to keep an eye out for when I'm
Well,
bike
you have
riding.
to also keep an eye out for motorcyclists.
Yes.
My wife was saying she was, I think she was coming off the connector down by Industrial Drive, single lane,
Coming off the connector. Oh, yeah, right.
and
Tight curve.
Thank you.
I don't know how you're gonna get a straw.
Wait, table service?
No, I was gonna put
The,
water in it too,
Wait.
but I like ice.
A little point, we had some confusion on the donuts today. I
Oh,
misread your text, I thought you said you were getting the donuts.
Oh, my apologies. No,
I
I
canceled her donuts.
wouldn't have been here if I had to.
well, she had to get a second car, so nobody was getting, and we know that I never bring the donuts.
I don't think I could have even.
Well,
Cliff,
empty-handed,
no
empty-handed
donuts.
is coming back in June.
Okay, good.
Maybe you bring us some breakfast.
Yeah, we'll see. I'll bring you something Syrian.
Normally, I'm good for it, and I apologize. 'cause
I'll bring you
I had
some
it- I had the
lubna
whole
and
order
some
in my head.
Syrian bread.
so
Ooh,
the,
Syrian bread.
Syrian bread
I like
lubna.
that.
Yeah,
All right.
very nice.
so
Za'atar.
some kind of motorcycle passes her on the left.
Yes.
And she says, if I had seen him sneaking up on the left, I would have drifted right. But she said, but just then, two motorcycles passed her on the right.
I think Massachusetts has that law, correct me if I'm wrong, that they can drive between the lanes.
Yeah,
And it's not, I mean,
but you can be unsafe doing it.
no,
You need to pay
absolutely,
attention.
absolutely. But driving my son's beater without all the technological hoo-ha and doodads has made me more alert to like the traffic around
Yeah.
you, so. And the fact that people are constantly on their phones, even when they're traveling, 50,
60, 70
60,
miles an
it's-
hour.
it's
I see it.
nuts.
I see it
It's
on the
nuts.
highways all the time.
yeah, so when we have dinner
Like,
tonight.
why is this person driving so slow in the
Oh,
high
yeah,
speed lane?
right.
And then, they don't move over, so I wrap around and I look, and they're just hanging on. the
Right,
phone
and
like
now that
silent
you have
time.
that text to talk, or,
Sure.
they can just text their they can just talk to text, I guess is what it is. Anyway, John, I have four things, I'll turn it.
Get a different camera here and I'll zoom in on you.
She's doing a plug for
I'm doing
one
a
of
plug
our-
for Merrimack Valley Food Bank. I was at
Get
their,
rid of the graphics. Okay, now I can zoom in. Don't move, I'm gonna get to you.
so stay put.
Yep, I'll get over it.
And that is a very nice, what is that?
Pine cone.
Pine cone,
Acorn?
that is huge.
Pinecone.
All right, now we're coming up to,
Look at that.
we can do better.
Good job.
So, four things about my job I love. Number one, the people.
Okay, so tell us about the mug.
So,
Oh, actually, you know what you can do? Put it down in front of your microphone.
oh, there you go.
Now I'll go find it.
So four things I love about my job. Of course, the people, and those lead to stories. And then I got to tell you the perks, little perks like this, and the food at these events. So the Merrimack Valley Food Bank announced their capital campaign.
No, they did yesterday.
Yep. They've been doing it as a soft launch for a while, but they held their official launch yesterday, and they were giving away mugs. So, man, you don't have to tell me twice or ask me twice to get a free coffee mug. So I grabbed a coffee mug and shamelessly stuffed it with free food. And that powered me through the rest of the day. But they had a really nice turnout. The new warehouse is gorgeous.
It is.
But a little empty because, their federal funding has been cut. They had
Really?
$250,000 in federal food that was cut. So, that trickles, talk about a trickle-down effect. It has a major trickle-down effect. So if you're, my kids and I,
Trickle-up effect.
well, the trickle,
Because the national debt is
Oh.
$36.84 trillion. It went up only $29 billion this last week.
I totally agree with you. The debt, as the school and the school side and the city side are figuring out, I just informally wrote about this. You can't have both inflation and budget cuts. I mean, you can, but
Yeah.
that's like a red flag for, that screams that something is running off the rails. So there's no question there's big issues coming down the pike. And it'll be interesting to see what the school committee, and the city council hammer out. I think there do have to be some, and I'm probably repeating, you guys were already talking about this when I
No,
came in.
we were
but-
saving it for the second hour.
Oh, okay, well, I mean, what do
But
you,
first, we're going to talk about Utah.
okay, what's up with Utah?
Well,
Nothing.
Well, anyway, the Merrimack Valley Food Bank does an outstanding job.
They do.
Feeding seniors, feeding youth,
Yep.
with summer programs and
The
enrichment
School Nourish
programs.
program,
And
yep.
delivering food, and they are a true staple within our community that makes a huge difference.
And the backstory
So-
on that is that Jim, is it Duggan? He started the Merrimack Valley.
Good.
Or Jim Good, sorry.
yeah.
He started the Merrimack Valley Food Bank out of a U-Haul with his friends. And now it's grown into this massive,
And
I
it's
just learned that yesterday. So, now they've got this, 300,000 square foot warehouse and, freezers and all sorts of wonderful things.
It's an
and tons of
amazing
volunteers.
organization, so
Yeah.
let's all support them.
Yes, so there you go. Shout out to the Merrimack Valley Food Bank, who started their capital campaign officially yesterday. So if you're of mind to donate to their effort or volunteer your time, they're a great group of people, and you can call or email them and ask for a tour of the facility, and they'll give it to you, which is quite inspiring, actually, because of its organization.
Okay,
They got it going on.
I'm throwing a motion on the floor to stick with the Merrimack Valley and stay out of flat Utah.
we're
Mr.
going back
Krieger?
to Utah.
I was trying to figure out, wait, what motion?
Yes.
So,
All right, hit it, Cliff.
so
You've indulged us.
Utah is ranked number 4 in education in the
Okay.
United States,
How many school districts? in
ahead
Utah?
of Massachusetts.
I cried foul.
They spend $10,333 per student per year, compared to what? We're 22,819?
Are we that high, 22,819 per student in the state?
No, I don't think we're
I don't
at
believe
that
we're
that
high. We're
high.
not there
I don't
yet.
believe we're that
I
high.
think we're
I
that
was around
high.
18.
That's the
I believe
number
we're in
I
the
got.
16, 17 range.
Yeah,
with
that's what
special
I was gonna
needs-
say.
Special
We're higher
needs is
than
on the
that.
higher end.
Right.
And
Go ahead.
Utah has larger class sizes.
Well, of course they do.
So the question is,
Those Mormons are birthing all those babies.
why is Utah doing so well in education?
Because
2 parents in the household.
Yeah, there's
Plus
one of the
2,
differences.
3, 4, and they have compounds where one mother can teach all the children. Right?
Yeah, I'm not educated, I don't cover Utah politics, so I'm not educated enough about that. But I see your point about, and this is what I always bring up about the homeless issue. Why are we always reinventing the wheel in Lowell? Why aren't we, like, trying to figure out best practices in other cities like Memphis, Tennessee, like Houston, Texas, of all places, where they're implementing these really innovative programs for a long-term strategy of solving, you're not going to solve it. I mean, as we've talked about before, homeless have been around since the Old Testament and the New Testament too. So, but we're operating in a vacuum on that issue.
I
And
agree.
so if they have an educational model that is premier, and I don't know that it is, that's a best practice. And maybe
And-
that's something to look at.
And what makes it
Right.
premier, right? And they say Massachusetts is one of the top, right? But I completely disagree.
To testing. But you work in a gateway city, and again, how many gateway cities does Utah have in reference to?
How many are there nationwide? Like
Massachusetts?
None, it's
14?
landlocked.
Yeah, right.
Right.
But
So, that's
half
a,
of them
that's
are
a
here.
huge factor. And like John mentioned, the single-parent households, the people that don't speak English as a first language households.
yeah, they're pretty
there's lots of
homogeneous there.
intangibles.
Yeah, I would say there's not a lot of diversity.
we're-
separated.
we're
Utah
filtering-
is a
within there.
vacuum.
Yeah, I would
Themselves.
agree with that.
We're filtering illegal immigrants throughout the country. So I don't think that Utah is a pristine state, and you might say that about Alaska. I can't imagine very many illegal immigrants wanting to go to Alaska.
Well, Colorado was where the MS-13 got into those apartments too,
Because of
actually.
the
Right.
drug trade there.
Right
Yeah.
next door.
Colorado's, yeah.
How many nursing homes, how many hotels, how much commerce does Utah really have? Because where the commerce is where we could say the illegal lives, or where the people don't speak English.
Do
the
they have
first language
EBT
lives.
cards there? Do they have EBT cards there?
Yeah, we
We're gonna do
need
these,
that. That's not something to compare.
Jay, I love this comment. Good morning, Melanie. Usually it's the potholes in the state that ruin people's tires. You lucked out. Yes, I did. And I lucked out that it's a nail because I can get that plugged pretty quickly. You're actually smarter and more aware when you don't, you know what, when you don't rely on smart technology. I totally agree. And I just got this car, my car, probably a year ago, and it sort of intimidated me. I just finally set up the map to show up on the, because, I didn't
I
want
was
it
gonna
connecting.
say, even when you said that, I was like, I wouldn't know how to.
No, well, I had my kids do it, honestly, I'll admit. They are so tech savvy, it's crazy. It's like second nature, second skin.
I'm only gonna do 2 announcements. Melanie, this should be investigated by one of your
I
reporters.
love this part of your announcements. So what's on the menu today?
You should investigate what's going on over at the senior center.
Why? What's going on?
Battered cod. That's lunch today, battered cod.
Touche, John, touche.
Now, out in Chelmsford, it's chef salad with turkey, ham, egg, banana.
Banana.
So those are all my announcements today because we don't have a lot of time.
I got to tell you, the Merrimack Valley Food Bank, they had chicken salad, they had ham salad, and they had egg salad, which I love egg salad, but I rarely cook it because the whole house stinks.
Where is Merrimack Valley?
It's, where China Star?
Yeah.
It's just down the street from China Star.
Okay, Melanie,
coming
when
toward the
you
city.
make the
Across
egg
the street from
salads,
Hadley Park.
Correct.
The back end of Hadley
Right.
Park.
I'm with you on egg salad.
Across the
Right.
street.
A deviled egg, same thing. So when you make egg salad, you boil the eggs, you cut them up. What do you put in with the egg salad?
Mayonnaise, man,
That's it?
and
Put
relish.
celery?
Not
bit of
Miracle
relish.
Whip?
And
Relish.
what? No, mayonnaise and what?
Not Miracle Whip?
I'm asking the questions.
You're just a producer.
What I want to know is, what do they do in Utah? That's what I want to know. How do they make it in Utah?
Well, I will call an undertaker in Utah before the end of the show.
Well, celery's interesting. Who said
Utah
celery?
egg salad
You?
sandwich.
Celery.
That's
like,
interesting.
So you
Create a
put,
crunch.
now, I
Those
didn't
love
get
a
the other
crunch.
ingredient you put in there.
I sometimes put a little bit of pimento for color, if I want to be fancy.
Pimento.
But just pretty much eggs and mayonnaise and relish. I don't,
Oh, see,
Some
I didn't
people
hear the
put
word relish.
mustard. So I guess it depends on how you want it to look and,
Anybody else make egg salad here?
I've made it before.
So
I
what?
do. I need to
It
get
just-
back to that,
I
because that's always a
love-
yummy sandwich.
It is, it's so
It's a
tasty
yummy
with a
sandwich,
piece
sure.
of lettuce and, you
Not
know,
too much mayonnaise.
toasted
You
bread
really
and
limit it down.
Wait,
a tomato.
And
why
it's
not
good at
Miracle
any
Whip?
time.
One at a time, one at a time. Fred has the floor.
Right, anyways, egg salad sandwich is great.
So what do you put in, when you make egg salad?
Well, again,
What do you- no, we
just
don't know.
shared, salt and pepper, mayonnaise,
course,
right?
yeah,
Salt and
right,
pepper,
right.
mayonnaise, and a little bit of relish. And I've seen people, again, put mustard in. And that's enough, because it's just so delicious anyway.
It is
But if you
tasty.
give it too much mayonnaise, it's just sort of
Mushy.
too
Now,
mayonnaise-y.
before we give the Miracle Whip plug by Cliff, I want to hear, Eileen, when you make egg salad, what do you put in it?
I'm a texture person, so the crunch of the celery is like.
So you leave the shell on?
That's a good idea.
But no, no, I don't leave the shell on the egg either. So I just do it with probably mayonnaise, and I would actually put on a little adobo for flavor.
Oh, that's interesting. Wow, fancy girl.
Okay, now getting over to Cliff. When you make egg salad, Cliff,
I don't make egg
I
salad.
didn't
Oh,
think
my.
you did.
Maybe your
What
wife
about
does.
Martha?
She uses the.
I
Miracle
didn't
Whip.
think you did.
Let's go back to Utah.
Okay.
What is it
All roads
about
lead to
Utah that we're not seeing? Is it really the fact that they do a better job of marriage than we do?
I don't think so. I mean, I don't know enough about the,
They overmarry.
yeah,
Household?
That's Jack
Four-parent
Mormon.
households.
That's
Two-parent
Jack
household
Mormon.
is huge, my friend.
no, it would be
Eileen,
three-parent
that's-
households.
That's Jack Mormons, that's not Mormons.
Yeah.
Listen, there's
being
a
silly.
lot of woman influence in Utah, regardless of the way you look at it. What's the woman to man ratio in Utah?
A little more on the mic, please.
What's the woman to man ratio? I'm gonna look it up.
I don't know. That's an interesting question. I would have thought it would be pretty standard across the continent.
Well, while you're looking that up,
Oh, there's more women than men.
John, before I leave here, I have to use your restroom to change into my jeans. Because, I always try to look nice when I'm on TV,
Yeah.
but when I leave here, I change into my other superhero outfit, and that's jeans and boots. Because a reader told us that the trees across that South Common were vandalized. That the branches were stripped, and some of the small saplings that they planted were snapped in half. So I'm gonna tromp over there in my boots and check it out. Had you heard anything about that?
Not a peep.
I might leave my car in your
Go
drive
right ahead.
and walk across and scope it out. They sent us pictures, but I always have to verify. I trust but verify.
Utah's
And
population is just over 3 million. Massachusetts is at 7.6.
That's
And I didn't
another,
look up the square miles.
that's another
So,
advantage
we have to take a look
to
at,
success.
the open air,
Right, the
how
number of people that you
rural,
have.
what rural is
Yep.
in comparison to cities, so.
Cities create a lot
Their
more friction.
models might be much altogether different.
Yeah.
Cliff.
But they're being successful. Maybe we should
I don't
change
know,
our
I
model.
mean, there's less to work with,
Sure.
so
Sure, change our model.
I like,
Where's Wyoming? They have pretty much the same type of state.
Well, the top is Jersey, which was a surprise to me.
Jersey. Now, they've got,
Wow.
they're very similar.
All right,
Melanie, can you read these texts, please?
Sure, Massachusetts has a large, powerful union. Is Utah's school system run by unions like Massachusetts?
Watch
interesting.
out, shot,
Did
shot.
Cliff recover his 85 cents from the city? Oh, I missed that. Has the pothole that swallowed his car been filled? Not San Fran Bart. As a kid, we would bring an egg salad sandwich to school for lunch. Exactly. On a hot dog day, that would get things moving. Or a hot day, that would get things moving. That's
would.
very funny, yeah.
Back to you, Cliff.
All right,
Yeah,
can I?
see, you know what, just to jump in real quick, John, your viewers are my people. They know exactly what we're talking about. When we talk beater cars, when we talk egg salad sandwiches.
John
Pay
doesn't
attention,
know
they
what
have
a
a lot of
beater
fun.
is.
John knows what a beater is.
John, you do or
Although
don't
he may
know?
have
I
never
do
driven
know,
one.
I do know what a beater is. Cliff had brought up some other frame and frack, crazy convoluted thing like tuck and roll. And he had to define it during the break so everyone would know what tuck and roll is.
Oh, my.
So Cliff, would you tell the audience what tuck and, since no one of our vast audience this morning, no one sent a text in of what tuck and roll is.
I've heard stop, drop, and roll. I've not heard tuck and
Oh,
roll.
back to that.
Tuck and
That's
roll.
if you're on
Eileen
fire.
said.
Yeah.
I thought it was an adult
It's a girl
video.
stop together.
Stop, drop, and roll, right? That's all I heard.
Maybe the tuck and roll is a guy thing, so what is it?
So Cliff, you have the floor.
It's getting the inside of the roof of your car redone so that it looks nice.
Oh,
You
not a
take-
convertible,
You
a
take
hardtop.
A hardtop, you take it down to TJ and they,
It's tightening
Fix
up-
it up
it's
for
tightening
you.
the linen for you.
I think I have an answer. In Utah, there's 607,000 students enrolled in a total of 945 schools
Oh, my
divided
goodness.
into 42 districts. In Massachusetts, there's a total number is up to 936,000 enrolled in a total of 1,751 schools in 316
In a
school
much
districts.
smaller geographical area, I'm sure,
yeah.
too. I
The
think Utah is
geography's
huge.
As far as I'm
Speaking of huge, what in the heck is this?
This is
like
gets
some
me going.
serious
all right,
coffee.
Eileen,
the exercise.
Is that
we'll
Utah
talk about
size
these
coffee?
numbers again, but we need to move on.
Okay.
All right, moving on.
This was your
I
idea.
think
We
I-
had a
yeah,
public
we tried to
budget
vote it
hearing.
down.
We had a public,
If I had
what? Are
understood,
you
I
saying
would've
something,
seconded
John?
that motion, but I
Paramount
was
importance
confused.
is, Martha has texted in your egg salad recipe. Would you come
Oh,
and read
good for
Love it.
Martha.
it to the audience, please?
Hard-boiled eggs boiled for 12 minutes, then plunged into ice water, scallion onions, celery, sweet pickles, and Miracle Whip.
Oh, I
you
like
go.
the onions. Okay. My
Yeah.
egg salad is super boring.
Scallion onions.
Scallions and
And
celery.
Right.
All right,
And not relish, but
Thank you,
pickles.
Martha.
Cut them
I
down.
like that, Martha. Thank you.
where's the 4 million?
Oh, yes. So I haven't,
Cut right to the chase here, huh?
yeah,
It's in the same
No,
What's
no,
this,
spot.
drag it.
39 people?
A little tighter on the mic, Melanie.
53. Oh, sorry, 53. 53
Did you
people.
watch the budget hearing the other night?
No.
Well, I think
3
everyone's
hours.
a little confused. I think nobody knows where it is. I don't think the school knows where it is, and I honestly don't even think the city knows where it is.
It's like, where's Waldo? Where's the 4 million?
It's a cut, is what it is.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
a cut,
Ultimately, it's a cut.
but at the end of the day, it's a cut, but it's not a cut. Like I just don't get it. Like, but even the mayor was like, "So we're losing 16 paras, but yet you go on School Spring and see they're hiring 40. So we should just approve the budget tonight, so everyone gets their job back."
Funny.
Yes,
Right?
yes. But all
Like-
that means is they're cutting the 16 paras, right? The 40 that they're hiring are just a sort of a rolling 40 that they advertise for regularly, but ultimately, we would have to hire 16 less paraprofessionals.
Okay, kids,
what
now,
your
kids,
FTE is,
microphones are not, microphones are a lot of magic, but they need to be a little closer to your mouth.
Can you hear me, John?
I can hear you, but
All
I
right,
was
right
not
on.
hearing.
All right, so
Well, it's like the police chief in Detroit, Jerry Oliver, said many years ago, and I've probably said this before, when the city council there called him on the carpet for his budget, and he said, "I wasn't over budget, I was underfunded." And I thought, oh my gosh, that is a great, I was covering that at the time, I thought, oh my goodness, that is a great.
It's a great line.
So,
It's
so
outstanding.
we're gonna have
To the press, I
poor
love it.
performance.
Say it again, Cliff, I'm sorry.
We're going to have poorer performance.
Yeah.
I would argue that we can't get any poorer. We can only go up.
Be like Utah.
I doubt Utah brings it like Lowell Public Schools does in terms of support services and
mean-
special needs and, remedial supports that are, I think you're right, that I don't know with certainty that I can say that it's because of a lack of two-parent households. It can be a lot of conditions.
Not only the egg salad controversy continues, would you read this?
Egg salad without mustard is not traditional egg salad. Oh yeah, I've heard that recipe. Spicy brown mustard is the way to go. Well, you know what? Maybe next time I come in, I'm going to have to bring in, instead of donuts, I'm going to have to bring in, Martha's egg salad, my egg salad, and the Golden's egg.
That
I
sounds
love
like
it.
it-
We'll have a
Golden's
taste
egg
test.
salad. Do
We'll
a
have
taste test.
Sure.
Just go to
sounds
Market
fun.
Basket.
Way
They have
too-
nice little egg salad
yeah.
things to go there.
They do, and I think they're always mayonnaise.
Before Eileen gets away,
Yes, I have to go.
so
Real job.
you have this thing called permission to enter
I love that
in
part.
the agenda.
I love that part of the
I
budget.
don't understand why
agenda.
there should be a question everyone should be allowed to enter. This
It's
seems
weird language.
autocratic. It seems un-American.
Well, it's sort of like permission to enter into these contracts to spend this taxpayer money, which is kind of funny. It took me the longest time before I dove into the budgets to figure out they all have their little language quirks, but the permission to
And then-
enter.
So at
And
each,
then this week, you mentioned that we were going to spend money, but unlike in previous agendas, the amount was not listed. Are you hiding something?
Wait, what happened?
4 million.
Yeah, the 4 million's missing. That's hiding.
We're hiding.
Where do you think she got that Dunkin' Donuts cup?
That coffee is definitely working on you, girl.
So look at, Emily, another one for you to read.
What school in the country has the best schools?
The school district system.
What school district in the country has, I don't know.
Kensington.
Education
What?
is,
The metrics aren't even. So I would say it's hard to measure apples and oranges, but I would argue for Massachusetts. Because
So-
we have the strongest secondary, or not secondary, post-secondary school system,
So as I look at schools,
right? We have like 260.
not
New
K-12.
Jersey's the best,
Oh,
Florida's
somehow.
close
Well,
behind,
yeah.
Colorado, and then Utah.
I'm sorry, say that again, Cliff. I was talking over you.
New Jersey has the best overall education,
Really?
followed by Florida, followed by Colorado, and then Utah.
Florida, I find that really hard to believe. I'd have to look at that.
That's,
no, I've heard great things about the Florida school
Really?
systems. And
Wow.
I mean,
Again, not a lot of students in the Florida school system. Mostly it's retired people.
yeah.
So they
So the
sort of
numbers might be-
minimize.
yeah.
They have a ton of
they minimize
volunteers from the elderly communities, probably. I mean, maybe Florida has the right idea.
and it's probably varies. We came back from Germany, and our daughter went to school in Clearwater, Florida, did nothing for a year.
Clearwater, yeah, that
she-
was a backwater place back
in
probably even in
fact-
the 80s.
In fact, she sometimes did poorer on the test than she should have, just so she didn't get out of step with her classmates. And then we went
No.
to Fort Walton Beach up in the Panhandle. She was a year behind.
You know what? That's very interesting.
Depends on who you ask. I asked Google AI, and they said Peoria, Arizona.
Yeah, I could see that too.
And second is Evanston, Indiana. And then Richmond, Washington.
Well, here's a lived experience, and that I put a lot of value on lived
I'm
experience.
sorry, I have to go. I have to
All
get
right,
to
good to
work.
see you.
All right, good to see you guys.
Is this, oh, I thought you had two phones there for a second, that's mine. It's like, man, you are traveling.
See ya. Have a great day of the work week. A final day of the work week.
Go get him, Eileen. So lived experience. So, we adopted our kids from foster care, and they came from Springfield. And my daughter had just turned 6 when we became a family. My son was 4, so he was still preschool, but he had had no preschool, no Head Start, no nothing. And she had had a year of kindergarten in the Springfield Public Schools, which is like a level 2 in great schools, right? So she comes to Arlington, which is a level 9 in great schools, and the principal said in his very tactful way, I think you should hold her back, because if you put her into first grade with a level 2 background, she's going to be lost, because that's the fundamental. You learn to read, you learn to write, you learn to play nice, and it's going to sour her on education, so we held her back.
But I'm sorry, I'm kind of back.
Okay.
You said it's so basic. Like levels of like reading, writing, right? And all of those things. It's become too complicated
Oh,
with the
interesting.
wording, right? Like
Arlington taught phonics, and I loved it, and she loved it. So I really think the phonics, I'm a big fan of the phonics system in learning to decode words and all that kind of
I
stuff.
think we've made
Listen in
it.
the car, you gotta go to work.
We've made it too complicated.
Yeah. Well, so she caught up.
Question for Mr. Bahou.
Lowell teaches phonics.
When a teacher retires from Lowell, how much unused sick time do they get?
Oh, that's always an issue.
How much unused sick time?
You mean, what do they get to keep?
They get 25%. of the sick time that they've
So
accrued
if I have 100
in
days,
their
they're only paying me
career.
for 25.
Ooh, you gotta
That's
use it up.
correct.
Yeah, you gotta plan better.
You'll get, because I know we've had meetings that they've like capped it, not capped it.
It's not capped. It might be capped as far as new hires go,
You mean
but it is
rate
not
capped?
capped as the whole system goes.
I'd be interesting from your viewer, where that question comes from. I mean, that's an interesting,
Greater Lowell, we capped it at 225 days.
wow, that's a lot of
You
days.
can't have more than
Wow.
225 days when you leave. In Lowell, unfortunately, it's uncapped.
Well, they're changing all those benefits. They're just calling them
They're
personal
trying
days.
to, but you need to work
Yeah.
with the union to do
Right,
it.
right,
So that's
right.
that's the tough part.
The
That comes back to
non-union
the
people don't get
negotiations.
any of those, those perks.
They're a very strong union.
Yeah. All right, Cliff, what else you got for us?
Gee, we're happy with the schools.
We're happy. Well, we're moving, right? Our attendance rates are up, our test scores are up, our graduation rates are up.
I thought that was super
So we're
impressive.
moving.
And you know who else I think is impressive is Wendy
Wendy Crocker.
Crocker
Yes,
Robert,
Robage,
Robage.
yes.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of metrics, and that woman brings the metrics. She
does.
she lays it out, and
She's very knowledgeable.
I love that about her. And that, I think that was at the last meeting where she laid out the graduation and the
That's correct,
attendance
the
and.
cohorts and such. And she was giving us a very, something really that I like to look at, which is the 4-year rate.
Oh,
You know,
interesting.
Because the state of Massachusetts says to give the last year rate.
Right.
A kid started the senior year in high school and they graduated.
much better
And we
perspective.
graduated at 98%. Well, realistically, it's when you come in, as far as I'm concerned, when you come in as a freshman and when you graduate
And
as a senior.
track them.
And what does that look like?
Right.
You know, and we're currently, I think, at 81%, where, it was lower. A
Solid.
few years ago.
Right.
I did ask for, well, anyway, yes, so she does have great metrics to
Right.
look at.
I'm sorry, when I look at those statistics, I get the same answers I do when I contemplate Utah. It's the family.
I can't reflect on that. I mean, I think one of the things that school districts, in my lived experience when I was growing up, there were tons of volunteers. There was tons of unpaid labor. There were tons of PTAs, more unpaid labor. There were volunteers who went on the field trips. There were volunteers who came I was a volunteer at my kids' classroom, 3 times a week for 2 hours during writing workshop. And, I think a lot of that has gone away. But after we adopted them, I took 2 years off to be a stay-at-home mom. I think in terms of the family, unless you get parity of people in the relationship, that the men take off time just like the women, we're assuming the women are going to take the time off to parent their children. And I don't think that's a valid assumption anymore. And I think you're seeing women going back into the workforce. So this huge volunteer, just like in the polls, they don't have as many volunteers. Now they're using 16-year-olds, which is perfectly legit because those kids know the technology. I think they have to be 16 to be a poll election
Yes.
worker, and they're paying them.
By the way,
That all used to be volunteer, so now that has to be
Melanie
budgeted.
is saying how you can pick up money for Christmas.
Yeah, if you want to be, if you're 16 or older and you want to be a poll election worker in Lowell, I think it's like $250 for the day.
Yeah.
Plus you get paid for the training. So it's not a bad gig. It's 10 hours,
If you
10
want
to
some
12
money-
hours,
If
right.
you want some money, call the election office. There's a preliminary election in September and the full election in November. It's a chance to
Make some serious
something
bank.
like $500.
Yep, and I will run that in the 5-minute read again. But all those positions used to be volunteer.
So Melanie, can you read these?
The question comes from the Chelmsford conversation the other day.
I think that had to do with the teachers.
Oh, gotcha.
You
Okay,
asked
I
that
have to
question.
revisit. I agree with Melanie, there needs to be more food on the job.
Oh, my.
Find out what the manager's favorite food is and maybe he'll come in. A restaurant from downtown, I'm figuring downtown Lowell, can bring in some dishes and everybody can chow down. I like that. Thank you, Bart. Could you please announce that it's been postponed so people...
Okay, Jeff Kuna had this rally he was going to have about the legislature, audit the legislature, and it's because it's going to rain, he canceled the rally.
Oh, okay.
So if you're going to plan on going there with Jeff Kuna, got rained out
And where was that being held, John?
at the State House.
It was going to be at the State House
My
today?
recollection, it was going to be Saturday
Okay.
on the grounds of the State House, and because of the yucky weather that's coming in, Kuna canceled it. I think that was
With the
why.
State House, the State House is closed on Saturdays, is it not?
Yes.
Well, you would think that they would do it during the week.
Yeah, I don't know
But of
what the
course, you know,
permit- yeah.
people are working. and such.
People are working, you don't have the
People work.
volunteers
They
to
don't have time.
protest.
They don't have time to be.
The
at
paid
State
actors.
House.
Hey, speaking of weather, I'm running a story for tomorrow's paper about the Merrimack River. It peaked ever so slightly
Sure.
above flood stage on May, I want to say 15th or 14th.
About 4 days ago.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Monday or Sunday.
And I went down there, it was wild. I could feel the spray on my face
It was
from
really-
the bridge,
Yes. Which bridge?
School Street Bridge.
Yeah, sure.
But then I went down
Hunts Falls.
to the little observation
Sure.
deck.
Yeah,
It was
you
so
really got
loud.
Yes,
Yeah.
it runs.
It was.
I've walked over after some terrific rain, and I walk over, I'm like, wow, is this beautiful?
there were
And
no
then I'll
rock-
go down to the University Bridge just
Oh,
because
that's a good one.
It's so, you know, it's so interesting.
So there were falls or there were no falls?
There were no. It was as high as the falls.
So there were no falls?
No, now there
It
are.
was
I just-
minimal. What I
was a-
saw was minimal. There wasn't a lot happening. It was raging. It
Because
was
I have
raging
seen it with
quickly.
no falls, and the canal was raging at the same time.
I drove over it yesterday, and the rocks were exposed.
Oh.
So it's peaked, and it's now. And
So
when you
the
look at the
drain.
GSG or United States Geological Service, they chart that. They have monitors in the
Yep.
river. It completely dropped off. Thank goodness.
And I think the bank's at 53 feet, and this was 53 and a half.
Is
on
it
Sunday. They were saying
52,
it
something
could
like that,
overflow, it
right?
could
So
flood.
it was high underneath the
Then
bridge.
where'd you get your information?
What was the
My
beaver?
information came from the Weather Channel.
You need to look at the microphone.
I went to
Need to
the
look at it,
United States
Well,
Geological Service website, and they have,
Somewhat directional microphones, so when you turn your head, so if you look at the person you're talking to on the monitor, it works much better.
when we have our taste testing on egg salad sandwiches, I'm turning off my microphone. I just want you to
Okay,
know.
back to the schools. Danielle McFadden, who I think is running for an at-large seat,
She is?
had an opinion piece in the local fish wrapper.
Or birdcage liner, as I've been told.
Oh, okay. Let's keep
Take your
our
pick.
commitment to Lowell's students. So
She actually had
wants the
that
4
on-
million back.
She had that on Inside, she posted to Inside Lowell as well. Yeah, she, I give a lot of credit to people who put pen to paper, the old-fashioned way. And, instead of blathering about on social media, actually write a letter to the editor. Social media, none of that it'll be saved in their archives as they generate AI programs for free based on all the content that's on social media, which apparently is toxic because that's what AI is generating. But,
Wait, there's an editor?
yeah, yes, Cliff.
You
of
can
course.
write to the editor?
You can write to the editor.
Does the editor ever write back?
But you'd be surprised, despite, some people in the city saying that nobody reads the Lowell Sun, we get tons of letters. And so it becomes a question of space. We can't run 20 letters. We don't have enough room. So we have to sort of sort through them, and I don't know that process because the
I-
editorial side is separate from the news side.
How much,
I haven't seen a letter in a fortnight.
how
From
much
you?
readership do the letters get?
Anybody.
I'm sorry?
I know you guys track on which page gives you the best views. So when you track it, I'm going to guess obituaries is like one of the biggest places that you get people to click on.
It depends.
Letters to the
Yeah.
editor. So have you tracked of what kind of attraction your audience has for letters to the editor?
I think the letters to the editor audience is your hard paper readers.
So
I don't think it's
online-
our online readers.
Online, not so
So it's
much.
not trackable in that way. Yeah, we can't track the eyeballs of a hard copy paper.
Okay, I'm going to grab some airtime real quick here, just for a few little things. First of
Hit
all,
it, John.
I want a tip of the cap to Tewksbury Fire Department, Tewksbury Police Department. We had an incident yesterday at the Tewksbury funeral where one of my colleagues got weak, collapsed.
Oh, my gosh.
So we called 911 in less than 60 seconds.
Wow.
Fire truck was on the property. Of course, the fire department's across the street, but still, 60 seconds later, the fire truck was there. The ambulance showed up a minute later, cops all over the place. exquisite response, and I just want to tip of the cap. You guys are on the ball there. Fantastic job.
I bet
Well, wait.
Tewksbury is better than Utah, John.
Well, I got-
I'd love to see
Melanie-
that.
Melanie
Love to
has-
see the response time in
Melanie has
Utah.
an article on
Okay, we're
this.
gonna,
She's
we're gonna shut up,
probably
we're gonna shut off your
volunteers.
mics. Okay, I got two more things.
All right, John.
No, let's finish.
Okay, you're done, Cliff. Your mics are off. So, two more things. I went, they can't hear you. So, second thing, I went to, back neighborhood meeting last night. There were about 20, 25 people there. Captain Damaris, Lowell Police Department, star of the show. And it was very enlightening to listen, and people yelling and screaming and angry about some of their neighbors. And somebody said, knock it off. And Damaris, Captain Damaris said, no, I want to hear people vent. I want to hear this. I'll ask my questions when people are venting. So it was really a nice job. Captain Damaris, wonderful guy, and a lot of the complaints I heard last night were well-founded. And lastly, I went to Rodney's party at the China Star, and it was packed. Delicious time, yeah, delicious time.
Was there egg salad, John? That's what I want to know.
I didn't get to, look, Friday's my way day, so I didn't eat anything. Back to you, Cliff, your mic's on.
Okay, Melanie, so you had an article on this topic. A person had a heart attack? Didn't you write that article on the response? They called 911, they dispatched all the equipment, and the 911 operator instructed the wife how to do the,
That was, I think the article you're talking about was choking. He was choking on
oh, I thought it was a heart attack, but
that. Then I didn't write that one. That might have been Aaron. But the story I wrote was about, gosh, I can't remember her name, Florence. And her husband at Christmas dinner swallowed something sideways and started choking. And by the time 911 would have gotten there,
this wouldn't have been Christmas. This was an article
Oh,
I read
yeah, that
in the
wasn't
last
me.
3 days.
okay.
I thought that was you.
But you know, John, going back to obits, it depends. There are some obits that like are off to the races. Like the person was clearly deeply embedded in the community, a lot of shares, a lot of reader feedback. And then there are other obituaries where it's, you know, so that doesn't, in fact, when my stories beat all the obituaries published for the day, like I'm a big metric girl, so I track
Okay.
my stories. Then when our hard news, those numbers are higher than all the obituaries, which can come to thousands of views. I consider my job well done. So, but you're right. Typically, obits are where people go, but I'm pretty sure it's the demographic that still reads the old mainline paper,
See,
the hard
as
copy.
You
Yeah.
probably understand, the only graphics we have is Facebook. That's the only thing that tells us. So some days we get 45 people watch us on Facebook. Some days we get 1,500 people watch us on
Right.
Facebook. That's how wide of it is.
Right.
And
It's hard to predict.
it's good to know, okay, this guy does not draw the crowd that another guy draws. And so it's just, it's interesting to watch that.
So, Fred. They've got a UMass program to allow kids to complete the first year while they're in high school, and Greater Lowell signed up for it. But Lowell Public Schools apparently not.
Lowell Public Schools, it's great that Greater Lowell has this teamwork with UMass Lowell. Lowell Public Schools works with Middlesex Community College, and students can take as many credits as they'd like during their junior and senior year at Middlesex Community College. Some teachers from MCC come to Lowell Public Schools and teach within our building, and then other times the students will have to actually walk over to the campus downtown at Middlesex and attend classes there. So we do have a dual enrollment that can offset students' debt by as much as 1 year or 30 credits.
Wow.
Or even more with Middlesex Community College.
Total change of topic. say, I've been listening, I listened to a couple of parts of President Trump speaking when he was in the Middle East, talking about getting out of other people's business. Did you have a thought on that? Do you think he had a successful trip to Riyadh and Qatar?
Yeah. Based on what the news agencies are saying, then he did have a successful trip. He met with the, new president
Yeah.
of Syria. He sort of, I think he's opened up some trade opportunities and giving them more chance for food and such. However, what the press covers, I'm sorry, Melanie, and what the what actually happens, we don't really know.
Well, I'm
And we're
local,
talking about
so I don't take
international
any
press,
offense,
right,
yeah.
We're talking about international press, so hopefully it makes a difference.
Yeah.
Okey doke.
Great show today. Melanie is always a great guest. I love it. Keep your, oops, I can't see the rest of the first one.
The editor only prints what he agrees with.
That may be, I don't know who the editor
That's my
is,
opinion.
because we keep the news side separate from the editorial side.
Great show
So-
today. Have a great weekend. On Monday, we got,
Was it that time already?
Eileen Delrossi will be here. Fru's gonna be here. John Curtis will be here, and Mike Smith.
Oh, John Curtis, he brought those lobster rolls, I believe.
Oh, my.
When I had them the first time. I've been looking for them ever since. They're like my,
You guys back up.
Great
Time to
white
shop,
whale.
Kids.
have a
Okay.
good weekend, stay dry.
Fred, you got any last thoughts?
Well, sure. I mean, let's hope that the city can have a conversation, the city manager can have a conversation with the superintendent of schools to go ahead and satisfy the shortfall. What's most important that we need to look at is, we have a $69 million recommendation by the state for the city to give us money, and the city had been giving us 33% a number of years ago, and now 22%, and unfortunately, they're knocking us down to 14%. The best thing we can do in the city of Lowell is to go ahead and improve our school district. And by cutting financial dollars that will give students less services, then that's probably not the best situation for our school district.
And jump in, I don't think we're going to get more money. Some of the people saying, oh, don't panic, the
Some
state's
people
going to
say-
give us more money. The governor just did all executive level hiring freeze across all agencies. There's no more money coming.
Right. And I don't want to rely on the state.
Yeah.
You know,
And the
it's the
good
city
news
that
is
has to
we
go
can
ahead and
blame
fund
it
the
on Trump.
schools.
Another,
Good
this
news,
is,
blame it on Trump.
this is a long dance, and it's going to, they're floating the big balloon that makes everybody clap and cheer, but eventually it's going to deflate. So,
Let's just hope the city can help us along.
yeah, I agree.
Great to have a great weekend.
All right, good weekend, everybody. Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Have a good day.